fast, fatal heart impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful thoughts and past. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kyusho here, and now, before we do start this mini shot, I do want to say something about this series. I'll be changing the way the vampires in the series do work compared to typically normal vampires. I may also change the way lichens typically do work. Now, with that being said, if I do say something that doesn't sound like it would fit a vampire or fit a lichen, that is why. So, that is where I believe we can clear that up and start. We'll start with Izuku. Now, in his life, things were always very strange. He was just normal. That was it. Eventually, whenever he was older, he moved away. His life wasn't really the same afterwards. He went to America. And, well, yeah. Hasashi, he was desperate to see his family. However, shortly after them coming to America, Inko got killed in a villain accident. Now, Hasashi, he blamed himself for this, and Deku, he was basically left alone with his father. And Hasashi, he had to try and balance a kid and a job. Now, that was not very easy. And Deku, yeah. Over time, he started to become a bit more aggressive. He got angry, and he didn't exactly like what was going on. He got into fights. And, well, yeah. Eventually, he fell out with the wrong crowd, or fell into the wrong crowd. And Hasashi, he was annoyed. He understands that Deku, he's, well, trying to just make it through the day, make it through life, but there's the fact that he doesn't focus right. His son turned out differently than he expected. And one day after Deku and him got into an argument about exactly what was going on, he was kicked out of the house. It hurt Hasashi. He never wanted to do it, but he ended up having to. And Deku, he stayed with some friends. Until some years later, where Deku, he's currently walking around town. And right now, him and a few of his friends do get into a large-scale fight. And Deku, after the fight is over, he actually does have a broken nose. He has a busted lip. And he does even have a few cuts and even a large gash across his face. Now, Deku, he has it right there, directly by the right corner of his eye. And he actually is very surprised. That one guy got a lucky shot in on him. And it fucking hurts. Right now, they're all currently walking back. And after they do arrive at their friend's apartment, you do actually have where Deku, he actually is walking down the hall. Him holding on to one of his friends, as suddenly they do go to open the door. And the moment they do go to open the door, Deku and his friends walk past. And the person, they do just go to freeze. Now, there actually is Deku. He does go to turn and make direct eye contact with a woman. And she actually is going to look right at him for a second. Her going to turn away, as you do have where Deku is going to turn back to his friends. And the woman, she is trying to think. Whenever they pass by, something happened. Something strange, something off. That smell. Blood. Now, there actually was where Deku and his friends, they got into the apartment. And they did patch themselves up. And Deku, he did what he needed to do. He stitched himself up, and he even did go to throw away the bloody bandages. Or the bloody, well, let's just say, what is it called? Gauze, and even some of the tissues, or even just napkins he used to clean up the blood. And there is currently where he does go to just throw them into the trash can. Trying to think. I'm going to turn towards his friends, who are both currently trying to forget the pain. As they do go to sit down, and crack open a few beers. And after a bit of time, they all pass out. And there actually is Deku. He finds it to be very odd. He was laying down on the ground, and he does remember the last thing that they were talking about. He got so drunk he fell over, and he was even trying to remark about how that hot chick in his friend's apartment building, she stared right at him. And he can't believe that he's living next to a hottie. Fuck off, dude. I don't even think she'd be into you. Come on, man. Couldn't be all that bad. I mean, shit. Look at you. I mean, if you can get a girl, I know I can. Fuck. Fuck off, man. Okay, get a bed. Alright, well, I'm just gonna lay here, man. Honestly, I'm way too comfortable. You're just drunk. And, aren't you? No, I'm not, you fucking lightweight. Oh, please. You couldn't even handle a shot of fucking vodka. Hey, fuck off. Now, all of them, they do eventually pass out. And there is actually later, where Deku, he is laying on the ground. And he is looking right at the door. Or at least he's facing that way. And there is whenever he does start to stir awake at night. He starts to hear something. At first he thought it was one of his friends getting up to go use the bathroom. However, whenever he did go to open his eyes, he couldn't move. And he just felt off. He didn't understand it. He just went to try and look around the apartment, but he can't turn his neck. And then there is actually the sounds he's hearing. It sounds like there's somebody in the kitchen. And it just doesn't seem right. What is that? Now, Deku, he does hear something. Before he actually does go to see something in the dark move in front of him. And there actually is a pair of eyes staring right down at him, as they're barely away from his face. They're just right there. They're taking up most of his vision. Those piercing red eyes. They're terrifying. Now, the person, they do go to lean forwards, as Deku is going to feel something wet across the top of his forehead. Before, after Deku is going to pass out, he does going to jump awake. Him jumping upwards on the floor as if someone going to start to scream. Jesus, dude. What the fuck? Yeah. Okay. Did any of you guys see that? See what? Dude, are you alright? Jesus, dude, I've never seen you that fucking panic before. There was someone was in the apartment last night. Are you sure? I'm pretty fucking sure. They were staring at me and I couldn't move. Christ. They were gonna attack me. Attack you, man? You don't look any more fucked up than you did yesterday. Then again, that might just be your face. Okay, no, I'm being serious, man. Someone was in here last night. Dude, the door's locked. Okay, but seriously though, none of you guys experienced any bullshit last night. You didn't hear anything. Dude, we were all drunk. Besides, what did you even see? Fucking something in the shadows. It was too dark. Too dark? But I could still make it out. Something was in the kitchen. I heard noises. There were fucking eyes looking at me. And something... They could bring his hand up. And feeling his forehead. His forehead feels fine. Even the marks, or at least the, well, stitches he does have on his forehead, they're fine too. What the hell? No blood. That being something Deku just finds strange. He knows after he sewed that thing up, it was still bleeding a bit. But he doesn't even pull away flakes. Huh. Dude, are you alright? Yeah. Sorry. Maybe it was just a nightmare. You said you couldn't move though, right? Yeah. I just don't get it. That was, well, I mean, maybe it was something different. Maybe it was, fuck. It was, oh god. A college chick told me about this once. She studied some sort of science or not science, some sort of medical bullshit. What was it? Fuck. Sleep, sleep something. No, wait. P. It was sleep paralysis. Hmm? The fuck is sleep paralysis, dude? Just you might as well just look it up, man. I don't fucking know. I just know what it was called. All right. I wasn't really all that focused on going to college, you know. Right. All right. Yeah. I'm I'm head I'm just head back home, man. I gotta. Jesus, it felt so real though. Did you trying to think? So it was a nightmare? Some strange dream, right? Right. There's no way nothing was in here last night. It's all fine. It's all fine. Deku's gonna walk away. He unlocks the door and just gonna walk out. As whenever he does turn, he actually is gonna see that the neighbor they're currently sitting there, and they are fumbling with their keys. Hmm? Hey, you're my buddy's neighbor, right? Hmm? Her turning and smiling, as she talk about how yes, she would happen to be. Exactly who might he be? Hmm? Oh, uh, the name's Izuku. Deku walking up, as he does good at least hold out his hand. And the woman she is going to look down at it before going to reach out her own. Her going to shake it. And Deku does notice something. Her hands, they feel a little cold. And then there's actually her skin. Whenever he does look at his hand and look at hers is a pale white color. Her going to pull away. As she's going to introduce herself, talking about how she heard quite a ruckus last night. And she thought that she heard him scream a minute ago. Yeah, sorry. I had a nightmare last night. That bad? Yeah, yeah. It was weird. It felt real. Did it? That's not too good. Do you remember anything from it? Not really, just. So, never mind. It's not important. No. The woman she was going to stare at Deku, and Deku can tell that she actually does seem to be very intrigued by this. So, um, this might sound a little forward, but could I get your number? Oh, certainly. Really? Yes. You're interesting. Am I? Yes, well, I mean, rocky start to be sure, but you do seem like a good guy. I trust your, well, your kind heart. Hmm? Take what you're trying to think. He doesn't have a kind heart. Hell. But, I mean, shit, look at her, though. Now, you do actually have Deku's friends. One of them do come walking out. As the girl, she's gonna at least hand over her phone, and Deku is gonna put his number into it. Her getting it back, and she's gonna walk inside. And his friend is gonna be walking up, asking him if he really just did that. Hmm? Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Besides, I got that pretty boy vibe, don't I? Oh, fuck off. Hell, pretty sure she just gave you the wrong number. Hmm? No, I gave her my number. Wow, real smooth. She won't call you. How about this? $50. $50, man? Really? You can't be that confident in this. Alright, fine, 100. Alright, fuck, fine. We'll just see how this does go. But just remember, you already owe me 50 from our last bet. Oh, fuck off. Now, Deku is ready to go to walk away. We do actually have inside the apartment. The woman, she's actually quite happy about that. Her plan worked. All she had to do was wait for a scream. Then, all she had to do was pretend like she was coming back home. Quite simple. Quite easy. And right now, she's gonna think. She's never encountered a human like that before, though. His, well, scent. She's never been intimidated by a human like that before. It's odd. Her mother has warned her against things like this before, though. A human. Their scent, it can be alluring. It can be almost enticing in a way. However, it's never smelt intimidating, nor has it had that aroma before. It was alluring. And that is what does worry her. She wants to ask a question about this. However, she doesn't know that if she does go to bring this question up, somebody might snatch her meal away from her. And right now she's going to think. A delicacy like this is supposed to be rare. And she can't wait to sink her teeth into this meal. Now, we do actually have Deku later, where after he does get a text, you do actually have where he does go to respond back. And he does go to start talking back and forth with the vampire. Now, the two do go to make plans, and Deku does find it to be very intriguing. The two, they do go out for some drinks, and they do even have a bit of dinner, before they do eventually end up back at Deku's place. And right now, Deku, he actually is sort of surprised. He thought that he was being forward. However, this girl, yeah. It seems like she's, well, just like him. And that's kind of surprising. The two, they barely got into his apartment without either stumbling or, well, keeping their hands off of each other. And that was very surprising to him. And there actually was whenever they were both on the couch. She was sitting on his lap, and she was just making out with him. The two were totally just focused on one another. And there actually wasn't really to go to pull away. And Deku, he did go in a bit closer to her. As there actually wasn't really to go to somewhat grab onto his head and push it right into her shoulder. And Deku, he was surprised, as he thought that she was going to go whisper something to him. However, that was whenever the fangs were bared. And Deku, he does go to try and think about it. He remembers everything that happened afterwards. Granted, it was a bit hazy, and he was in a totally mindless state afterwards. But he remembers it somewhat clearly. She woke him up. She awakened something that she didn't even know existed. Something that many vampires thought was long dead. Something many vampires, they themselves feared. Well, lichens and werewolves have had their own little war going on. There was something before them. Something that they all feared. And it was something that they thought was eradicated eons ago. There are only two of them remaining in existence. And now, a third one has awakened. They thought that the next one to awaken wouldn't happen for at least another century. However, he just happened to be early. So, they're wondering exactly how this will go. And Deku, he actually is walking around. Many people are currently staring at him. And he does stand before the Council of Vampires. Right now, he does at least inform them about many things. These are the movements over here. These are the movements over here. And this is what's going on over here. And a lot of them, they do stare at him, as they do try to inform him as to what he does need to do. And right now, they do at least try to tell him he is not in charge. He can't just simply deem it to be so, since he is still a new spawn. And Deku does stare directly at them, as he has to at least say something to all of them, as his eyes do shoot to red, informing all of them to stand and kneel. Now, many vampires do go to stand, and they do go to try and fight Deku's persuasion. And the many that do kneel, they do just go to stare at Deku. And Deku does stare at the one defiant vampire. They're still able to fight it. They're stronger than he thought. Maybe there is some of his blood in them. The same type he has in his veins. Deku's just going to bring up his hands, as you do actually have where blood is starting to shoot from his fingertips. And the vampire is currently cut and sliced into pieces, as he does at least bring his hand backwards, asking many of them exactly which one of them would like to resist him next. Because he's going to fly out of here, and if any of them want to try and stop him, they can. However, he is the spider. They are the flies. They are all caught in his web. If any of them would like to change that, a giant set of wings coming out of his back, telling him that they will have to catch him to stop him. They will have to grind his bones to dust to stop him from coming back. And if they think that the sun can hurt him, they have another thing coming. He will find a way to walk in the day. And whenever he does, he will be unstoppable. Maybe it's a matter of building a resistance to it. Maybe it's a matter of things they've never thought of. However, he will discover it one day. And whenever he does, he will slaughter the vampires that stand against him. They forced him into this life. So he's going to do what he does best. Take this life and turn it into one he controls. Since they don't know jack shit about this era, and he knows everything about it. He's the one who was born into it and fucking lived in it. They just hide in the shadows. And Deku is going to turn. Him releasing his control of them, as many of them do go to at least start to take heavy breaths, wondering about exactly how he was able to paralyze them. They are old. They have long existed. And there is currently the bloody chunks to their left and to the right. That was one of the oldest vampires among them. Now, Deku, he's currently flying through the air, and he is just thinking about it. He will find her. He will make sure she is safe, that she is okay. She was so scared whenever he woke up, whenever he didn't die, when he wasn't drained like another human. There was the moments he woke up and went into a rage. He remembers it. He was angry at her. He was pissed. However, he's more angry at himself. Had he gained control, had he had blood, his friend, he wouldn't have been murdered. He wouldn't have been slaughtered. And he wouldn't be on the run. He had to abandon his life as Izuku Midoriya. And that's all because of a misunderstanding. People think that he's a murderer, that he's a killer, that he's out on the run because of a crime he committed. Heroes and police, they're trying to track him down. They're trying to connect him to a string of murders that they aren't just his own. They spanned throughout the entirety of the world. However, there are ones most recent that they try to prove he's done. But, so far, much of his own involvement has not yet been identified. And that does worry them. How does a previously quirkless guy evade heroes and police so well? No access to his own bank accounts. Nobody he does know sees him. He can't be caught on camera. This makes no sense. Whoever the fuck they're dealing with, they are very talented for a normal person. Now, Deku, he is still flying, and he does not have that worry in his mind. If he has to burn down Japan to find her, he will. The moments they shared together, while they have been strange, odd for him, they're normal to her. She has earned his loyalty. It might just be because she is technically his master. But the two, they are on even playing fields. And Deku, hell, a crazy girl like her, she's just his type. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed the mini shots. And I do believe that is a good point to leave this.